So funny. But yeah,
Yes.
it's what you said about it being a reflection of what's in us. So now I've been able to come to this place where whenever I'm hearing something that doesn't feel good, it doesn't matter who it is or what it's about, I'm able to pause and check within and go, okay, where is this in me? What
Right.
what a next level way of experiencing life. Like when it comes to my kids, right? Like when they're in a
Yeah.
mood or they're having a tough time, when I get that call and, someone's having a tough time, it's like, okay, going back within, where is this coming? Instead of reacting or responding, just reflecting.
That is, do you know what you just said is so powerful because it's so true. Not reacting, but reflecting. Whoa.
Yeah. That
Whoa.
just transmuted through
Whoa.
me. Like I didn't even have that thought before right now, or the awareness of it fully until it came out. Yeah.
Wow. See, it's
Yeah.
breakthrough. Like, look at that. Just for a conversation, you break through another like
Yeah.
barrier, shall we say, or another like it's going over these hurdles, isn't it? And actually coming to new awareness and
Mhm.
understanding. And like you rightfully said, it's like when somebody like just before we started recording, we were basically saying, right? We were saying that when we speak to people, some people will turn around and say, like, oh, I know you don't want to hear it, you just want to hear the positive things. So
Mm.
Melissa and I were just saying, it's not that we don't want to hear anything, it's that, we're still human and these things come around. So we just said, the thing is, we want to hear it because we are, first of all, human, but it's not about what is being said to us. It's about why is this coming to us?
Mm.
What, and that's what Melissa just said. It's stopping and saying, okay, so this has come, this thing has been said.
Mm.
What's the reason? What's in me that's reflecting this out? And this person is mirroring what's in me. So it's stopping and reflecting. And not just that, it's also that that super awareness of everything around us, really. Look,
Mm.
someone comes and says, I've had a really hard day today. I would never, and I know Melissa could say the same, turn around and say, well, I don't care. I just want to hear positive stuff. No, could you imagine? Like, don't want to hear it. No, it's so not like that. It's so in the place of, well, let's see where you are and not react to it. Oh, you can react because obviously we all react. We all have a first reaction, but it's actually taking that reaction and making it short lived rather than going on and on for the next 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. And
Mm.
some people are still saying the same thing 5 years down the line and saying, well, this
Yeah.
happened to me, that
Mm.
happened to me, and this is why I'm still upset. Now that's just wasting your life away. So rather than going into what's happened, it's looking at it, taking it for what it is, and seeing how you can move forward with that particular problem and look for the solution. And going back again and actually understanding this awareness of you that somebody's bringing something to you or you've seen something, it's a reflection, it's what's in you, and this is where we're having breakthroughs together, and it's
Mm.
just powerful, Melissa, so powerful.
Yeah, it really is. It reminds me of there's a scripture that talks about how we're, meant to be together and have fellowship together with others. And it really helps with that next level growth, right? To exchange energy and come to these awarenesses and being so aware of what's happening within us, that life is happening through us, not to us,
Not to us.
and that's such a common thing that people can think and feel like all this is happening to me. What a new way of existing to realize the power of it all happening through us, that we have say, we have choices, we have power. Doesn't that feel so much better to be able to press pause, reflect on what's going on within, choose to be intentional and aware, to choose to respond, and we all have those moments, right, where we're human and we're caught off guard and we might initially react, like you said.
Yeah.
The beauty is, the more you practice living in this way, and I'm sure you will say the same is true for you, that it becomes a way of being and existing, and it just gets easier and easier the more you practice it. To
Absolutely.
pause and reflect, and then be able to move through whatever the thoughts or feelings or beliefs are that we're acknowledging as we, there was someone recently this week that I love that was saying how they hate their job. And I instantly thought of the session we did on, the feeling of remembering when, we had that experience where we hated our job, and being able to transition and move through that to love and bless and appreciate what we had, and then see the magic happen of how living in that way can transform every area of our lives, and so being able to be aware of what is happening in all moments, and being able to go back within and say, okay, where is this in me? So powerful. It's just so powerful.
Yeah, and like you said, if somebody hates their job and they've come to me and said, I hate my job, and we done that session, and that was just brilliant because, like you said, you're able to say, like, now we can say, do you remember when we hated our job?
Yeah.
And there was a journey in between where, where we were feeling like that to where we are today. But how did we get from that to here?
Yeah.
And that was practice. Everything is practice. Like, a builder doesn't just go and build a house just from nowhere. He practices and learns daily the ways to do this. He watches other people. He will become I'm trying to think what the word is, an apprentice, let's say, where he's working alongside someone and he learns, and then he goes and does it. But he didn't just become like build a house.
Yeah.
It doesn't. So there's a journey between everything, and I suppose that there's the first step. Okay, understanding that you hate your job is a breakthrough.
Yeah.
It's an actual breakthrough because you now can say, this is where I'm at. I want different. What can I do to do different? Now, let's put it into this term, Melissa, right? So I hate my job. I'm going to moan every day. Anyone who I can find, I can't stand it. I don't want to go. I've had enough of it. This is just doing my head in. I don't want to wake up in the morning. I don't want to, and it's that knock-on effect, and that feeling of those conversations and that self-talk will get you on a downward spiral. It's the only way it can go, because you're self-talking yourself into something that doesn't resonate with you, and it's putting the power outside of you. Like you said, it's an outside force. You're now saying something outside of me is in control of the way I think and the way I feel and the conversations I have. I'm using this as my excuse to be able to speak in that way, which is not serving me. Or you can sit down and say, right, I don't like this job. I've understood that. But what do I like to do? And start thinking of what you like. And then have conversations with other people, and maybe ask people, what did you do? What could you suggest? Like you could ask people you really like and care about, that know you really well, and say, my personality. What do you think would work with me? And ask them for some suggestions, because, everything's a reflection. So you're going to get back, right? You're just going to mirror back what's in you already that you just can't find at the moment. So, and you don't have to take the first thing somebody says. It's a journey of understanding. But if you're saying to yourself, well, actually, there is a way out, and I do have control of this situation. What can if I write my my CV, I don't know what they call it in other countries. Is it a resume? Is that what we
resume? Yeah.
Resume. We call it CV, right? So if I write my resume out, you can start to see what you've done previously and what you're good at. Just start applying for different places. And then you can have the excitement of who's getting back to you. And then when you speak to people, you can say, you know what? I really don't like my job at the moment. However, I'm appreciating that I do have a job and I've got an income at
Yeah.
the moment, and
Right.
I'm in the middle of looking for something new. So if
Mhm.
you hear of anything, please do let me know. Then that has changed the whole energy. And what's going to happen? Rather than going downwards, you start raising your energy, and your
Mhm.
thought process starts to change in a more forward thinking way that's going to actually bring about results that you're looking for, right?
So, so, so true. Whatever we're focusing on and giving our energy to, whatever it's magnifying in our life. So the more you think I hate my job, the worse it feels and can be in reality. And then when you come to that place, so really powerful. Also from connecting and exchanging energy with you, Anthea, I was renewed in the power of Ho'oponopono.
Yes,
And yeah, so immediately now, whenever anyone shares something that doesn't feel good, whether they're experiencing it or it just doesn't feel good to my spirit, I immediately begin within my spirit. I don't have to say it out loud, just within my spirit. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. So that's what I'd been doing for the last few days since I heard it. And I'm so blessed to report that, I received a message from the same person saying, I've realized I need to appreciate this job. I'm blessed that I have it, and I'm ready for something new. And
woo!
yeah, yeah, celebrating that. What a
That's so what
powerful, what a
that's
powerful
beautiful.
awareness. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm,
Because that what you're going through you is emanating out to the others as well. So it helps them clear on themselves too, right? So
yeah,
without even knowing it, so the other
yes.
person's receiving this energy,
Mm,
and actually they're clearing within them, and it comes to their own realization, and something pushes them, and
yeah.
they feel those goosebumps, and they go, oh, and they're not really sure why, but
Mm,
it's because of the self-talk we give that emanates out into the world. And this is
yeah.
why I think what we do is, ourselves and everybody else out there that wants to put this out, just the power of positive thinking, the power of feeling good.
Mm,
That's why I just find it so powerful, because so many people could live. I'm not saying that you're not, like, whoever's watching this is not living a good life. Like,
right.
it's more to do with, you could always be happier. You can always feel better. There's
Mm,
always a stage where you can feel better and you can do more than what you think you're capable of doing. And I know
so
we haven't
true.
we haven't reached our heights.
We're
There's
we're we're there. We're doing it, right? And that
yeah,
feels so good.
and
Just
this yes,
yeah.
yeah,
Knowing we can, knowing that we can have, do, or be anything, all these new desires get born, all this creative energy starts to flow, all this inspiration comes through. And as we exchange energy and go through the growth process to reach next levels, it's so exciting. And seeing the amazing things that happen, right, is so, so powerful.
so powerful. It really is. And I suppose when we're speaking about like jobs, or I think that applies to everything, I say
Absolutely.
everything, to anything, right? So whether it's your
Yeah.
relationship, if you're having a hard time in your relationship, obviously there's stages where you can say to yourself, right, this just isn't for me. But
Mhm.
if it's not at that stage and you just feel like you were completely in love and it's just not
Mhm.
going that way, you can apply the same thing. It's like
Mm.
you just appreciate where you are. You can
Yeah.
sit down, start appreciating things about yourself, about your
Mhm.
partner,
Yeah.
things that you remember. You can remember things that were good and actually write them down, and reignite that feeling. Or there's a one that we've discussed of late that I found so powerful, and that's I remember when. and we were having the conversation. I don't think we recorded it, so I think it's a good time to actually share this, right? So we were saying, I remember when. So if you remember when, let's say, if you're saying, I remember when I was broke, let's say for argument's sake, I know I can say that. I remember when I was broke. Now, by saying I remember when I was broke, or I can say I remember when I was homeless because I've experienced that, what we're insinuating to today is that we're no longer there. So you're saying, I remember that, but now it's not like that. Now it's different. And that emanates a different type of energy. It's a higher vibrational energy because you're remembering when it was like that, but it's not like that anymore. So I found that, was it late last week? I think I came across that. And when I started saying it and remembering things, I was like, whoa, I just felt this shift in myself. It was like a big shift. So I think no matter what's happening, there's always going to be a journey. Our life is a journey. It's not, oh, I'm going to think good today, or I'm going to feel good today, and then go back into not feeling that way or reacting to situations or whatever it could be. It's all about every day to me is personal development, and I know it's the same with Melissa. We're always developing ourselves, and I think that is the key to life. The key to actually experiencing a good life is to literally work on you every single day, and even if it's just for 10 minutes, but just consistency. Like, people say, I love when when you hear at the beginning of the year, January, and someone says, oh, that's it, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to get fit, and they sign up for the gym. 2 weeks later, they stop. That's it, the commitment's finished, no more. They can't be bothered. It's, there's an excuse, it's this or it's that. But actually, if you're still continued, then naturally your eating habits will change. Your feeling within yourself will change. You will start feeling so much better about yourself. Oh, I think we've lost Melissa. I'm going to carry on for a minute. You'll just naturally start thinking better about yourself. Hi, I lost you. So yeah, it's consistency. When you're going to do something, you say you're going to do it, commit to it. Commit to looking after you every day. Commit to you. There's no point in committing to outside things. Commit to you inside. By committing to your inner world, you will reflect it all on your outer world. So there's nothing better than committing to yourself, loving yourself, being thankful for yourself, and just being the best of yourself that you can be. There is nothing better than that. So yes, we can have the cars and we can have the houses, but they're not gonna, we're gonna fulfill ourselves, right? We fill ourselves up. So yeah.
So true. Yeah, they bring temporary happiness, right? It's so fun to, see that hot Camaro in the driveway, or, go into the fancy house, but all that we desire, all that we're seeking is already within, and the abundant you that's already within you and becoming more of who you really are, that's what it's all about, I think, going within and being fully connected to experience our best life, to love the life we have now and live our best life through loving our life now. That love just
abundantly you.
Yeah, becoming abundantly you. Exactly. Yeah. It just radiates out into every area of your life when you're fully connected within and loving yourself and loving others and feeling that love and appreciation. And, I know so many say to feel the gratitude, feel the appreciation, and it sounds like simple, right? But so powerful. It literally can transform every area of our life and the way we feel. And the way we feel affects the way we're showing up, and that transforms everything. So just feeling the love and gratitude for the partner. Maybe the relationship isn't everything you desire it to be at this moment, But love and gratitude for yourself and others can transform. And as you show up from that place, and you also begin to expect, to believe and expect great things in every area. It really is, I think, the easiest and fastest way to transform any life experience, any situation or circumstance. Wouldn't you
Yeah,
think?
I totally agree with you. And it just triggered to say as well, like we do have limiting beliefs
Mm,
that a lot of us are not aware of, but then I think that's part of the personal development. So what
yeah.
Melissa's just said, so on point, and showing up to your best and appreciating yourself and your partner or whatever the
Mm,
situation is. But I think part of that that's going to help anybody is to actually go ahead and take those courses that will teach you how to do this.
yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and it's not just one thing or another thing, it's been continuous because you're always learning. And I
Mm,
know, like, without if we hadn't continued to learn, we would not be sitting here today.
nope. Nope. I
No.
could tell you right now, there's so many people I know that are where I used to be, that are, you know, I remember when I was struggling and feeling broken, and every area of my life was a hot mess. And I know too many that are still there.
Yeah.
And, that's going back a ways. But the power of thinking, what can I do to change my life? The power of everything beginning with a thought and opening up to think and believe in a new way, to identify the things that are holding us back and weighing us down, to clear those blocks and be open to the growth mindset to transform from within our experience of life. So powerful. And I'm glad you brought up taking a course, or going through a class or a program, because I think it's so powerful for those that are seeking to have a shift in their life, for those that are seeking for, answers, or to see things get better. Sometimes everyone needs a little support and encouragement, and thinking of all that we've learned along the way, right? How
Yeah.
much it helped us in our process. So,
Yeah.
receiving the information, inspiration, and then also receiving support, in
Yeah.
that exchange of energy, how much
Yeah.
growth we've been able to accomplish just
In the past
exchanging
few
energy
months.
together.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's like we bounce off of each other because
Mm,
Melissa will say something and I'm just like, whoa, I haven't heard it in that way. I would say something and she would say the same. And we
mm,
taught each other so much. And I
yeah.
think that's what you were just saying. It's like when you're part of a group or you do like
Mhm.
a master class, and let's say there's 10 people there and everyone's there for the same reason.
Right.
So being able to ask each other is so powerful. Being
Mm,
able to hear other people's stories and
mhm,
hear what they've done that made a difference in their life. And then whatever resonates with yourself, because you find your own way to start with. I followed many people to start with and was doing just, tried to follow how they were doing, what did they do? And I was mimicking how they were being,
mm,
or what they were saying that they were doing, so I could do the same. And now it's like we're out on our own 2 feet type of thing, like standing, doing our own videos, producing our own content, where it didn't start like that because we had to learn first of all, and it's still a learning process, but it is so powerful to team up with people and get that support. So if there's
mm,
something you don't understand or something you feel like, actually I feel quite stuck here, you can just
mm,
reach out and just say, look, this has happened.
mm,
um, and yeah, you're so right, the power of taking a course that's independently by yourself, or joining a group, or doing a
mm,
master class, or something that can resonate with you, that works for you.
mm,
And I just wanted to say, before I forget, what you were saying, Melissa, you was just saying before we got onto that part, was that you remember going through the struggle and how people are still there. And what I wanted to add to that was, isn't it amazing? Because that time passed by regardless. Yeah. And you are where you are, and people are still in the same place, not saying anything bad, or it's like they're bad people, or no, it's nothing to do with that. But they will feel like they're not fulfilling their life to what they could be had they taken the steps alongside you on that journey. And yes, we do slip back. There's times I know for sure that I've slipped back and I've ended up in old habits, because it takes a lot to come out of old habits. But if you're consistent and you're persistent in yourself and you have that tenacity in you, then man, do you break through these barriers. Man, do you live different. And like you've said, you live from within out. Like, okay, for example, right now, we don't have no script in front of us. We're not reading anything, are we? We're just here having a natural conversation. And what's happening is we're being guided to speak through the divine, through our higher self. It's just flowing through us. Now we got to this point because we trusted ourselves. But there was a point where we can both say, I remember when we didn't. And we were frightened and we feared to come out of our comfort zone. What are people going to say? What are people going to think? You know, there's so many things that go through our head, and it's all, excuse my language, but it's bullshit. Sorry to say. It's stuff that comes that is just programmed for you to think that way. And you don't have to think that way. You can learn different, because we're living proof of what we used to live on. And it's not about I'm not talking about houses, cars and all of that, and money and wealth. I'm talking about an everyday feeling of feeling good and excited for what's next in life, and expecting the best, right? Expecting good things to happen. And that's where I feel like I get seriously fulfilled when I wake up and I think, oh, what's today going to bring, in a really happy, go lucky way. And I know with Melissa, she's expressed many times, and I mean, some stories Melissa shares with me that I just love. I absolutely love it. And you know, where we've come to, it's because we've worked on in the inside, up here, in here, worked on ourselves, and this is why we're able to sit here and speak without reading the script, without having to stand and rehearse or anything. We're just talking. We're just, this is our conversations, right, Melissa? This is literally our conversations.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just born from our experience of life and all that we've learned and all we've grown through, and, you know, who we are now, in the now, of, you know, the ways that we have been able to transform our lives, and the feeling at the best part is the way we feel, right?
Yes.
Isn't that the biggest blessing, you know? Being excited for the day every day. Some nights I'm too excited, I can't fall asleep.
Exactly. And it's like, oh man. So then you have to sit there and start writing things and start creating. And I'm with you. Most of my nights is 3-4 o'clock in the morning, because I'm excited. I'm just excited. And it, like you said, it is the best feeling. And we want that for everyone. And we want you to know that no matter what, although it might seem like a far, far journey and it feels like impossible, it's not. I promise you. I remember lying on people's floors, literally without nothing. I remember those days of not knowing where I was sleeping at nighttime. And if I can go from that, and I know Melissa's experience, I know she's had her fair share of things take place. And if I'm right to say, one of them was homeless too. So both of us have come from this place, and, you know, to start with, it feels like it's never going to be. And you really learn to trust as you practice daily. You start to see things. And I heard a story actually. Trying to think where I heard the story, but I can't think of where it was. But I know the story, so I'm going to say it. So there was somebody who was homeless, and he was on the streets, and somebody had come past and given him a book of giving him The Secret to read. And he was like, well, what am I going to do with this? And the man said to him, look, just read it. And he said, yeah, but I need somewhere to live. I need some money. And he said, listen, I'm not going to give that to you. This is a gift. And I promise you, if you take your time to read it, it will change your life. And he took it and he started to read it. As he's gone through the book, he thought, it started to resonate with him. They thought, let me see if I can manifest a cup of tea or coffee, whatever it was, a hot drink. I can't remember which one it was. But anyway, so he started with something small. So he started thinking about it, and he started imagining and feeling what it'd feel like to have a hot drink. And someone walked past and said, can I get you a hot drink? And he said, yeah, I'd love a coffee. So he got him a coffee. And it went from there. So then he thought, wonder if I can manifest a hot meal. So he started to imagine what it felt like to actually sit down and eat a nice hot meal. Somebody come past and said, mate, can I get you something to eat? Come, I'll take you to the restaurant and I'll buy you some food. He sat down and he's like, wow. So these little things, and I say little, to him it was big, really, because these are not things that were coming naturally to him anymore, where we would expect to be going and making a hot drink whenever we want and having something to eat whenever we want. He wasn't in that place. He was feeling lack, that he couldn't actually have these things. So to him, this was magic taking place. So he understood the power. So he was like, whoa, if I can manifest that. And he continued. And what he's slowly done by manifesting day after day, these little things, it started to install a new belief system in him.
Yeah. Build your faith. Right? Builds your faith.
He built his faith. Yeah. Yes, I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah.
Literally, right?
So powerful right now.
So powerful.
Build your faith. The more you have faith and believe, you rise to next level faith and you experience next level experiences.
Yes. Now, well, this man now has got his own business. He's thriving. He's extremely successful. And if I can find out where I heard where the source came from in the first place, and I can get the name now on the next videos, I'll share the name. Just not there at the moment. It's not coming. Anyway, and the story in itself is just powerful. The fact of where he is now, but he built his faith, like Melissa said, built the belief system day by day, step by step. He didn't give up. He may not have believed to start with, but along the process, he started to believe, he started to have that faith and have, people say that they're scared of the unknown. And what I've come to realize is life is unknown. You just don't know. It's
so on point.
Right?
So on point, yeah.
That's what it is. So if there is somewhere you want to go, or you want to move abroad, or you want to move house, and you're scared because you're fearing, well, it's something I don't know, I'm not used to. Life is that. Everything is unknown. I could open the door and someone's standing on the other side. I don't know until I open the door. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's anything, right?
Yeah, and that just goes to everything's possible. Absolutely anything's possible, and opening up to that. A belief is just a thought we're thinking over and over, right?
Yep.
Really understanding what is a belief, it's just something that is in our subconscious, or we're thinking in our conscious over and over. If you're focused on something, if you're focused on not having, the gentleman may have been focused on not having, someone hands him a book boom, life changed.
Okay, just for a book,
Yeah,
just for
yeah.
reading.
The
And
power of one book,
one book.
opening your mind, opening your heart to receive the knowledge and do something with the knowledge too, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I, we both could relate to that in the sense of
Yeah.
the book changed my life. And I
Yeah,
think I said
mine
in the
too.
previous video, right? And I know
Yeah.
I said in the previous one that I lost faith at one point because
Mm,
I understood it and I could see but I'd so focused on what was going wrong at the time, even though I
mm,
was understanding, overstanding, I was so programmed in this certain way
yeah.
that I lost faith. But once, and it didn't happen for that, it was probably a week or so, or maybe even less than, but once I got back in and said, no, I know that this is what it is. I know where my focus goes, energy flows and grows. I know this. And
Mm,
I've seen this. Otherwise, I wouldn't be living what I'm living right that moment.
yeah.
So once I understood that and I switched it back round, the way things turned around with this, and I know
Mhm.
it's the same for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It was about 17 years ago when I discovered the book. You know, I had gotten to this place where I just felt like, why is everything always happening the way it's happening? Why are all these bad things happening to me? And I was so focused on the negative. I also had a complete lack of self-worth. And so when I stopped and said, what can I do to change my life? You know, I then went on this journey of self-discovery, and I discovered the power of forgiving and healing intentionally, releasing the victim mentality. And, you know, I also learned about the power of self-love. Everything begins with love. Love is all powerful. So when we love ourselves and love others, life transformed right there. But then I discovered The Secret and learned about the power of our thoughts. And I was wide awake for life. Like, for the first time ever, I was excited for my life. And one by one, I saw amazing things happen as I practiced everything they shared in The Secret. Now, I came from an interesting spiritual background where I did have some knowledge of faith and the divine. Whole other story for another video, but the basic knowledge did help me to embrace the power of faith and believing. And as I began to practice everything they talked about, I literally began to see miracles, my dreams coming true one by one, everything transform. It began with believing in a
Yeah,
new way, thinking in a new way, and, you know, beginning to expect good. How powerful that is. If you wake up dreading a day, chances are you're not going to have a great day, right? But
absolutely.
if you wake up saying, thank you for this day, I'm so grateful for this bed, I'm so excited to see sunlight coming through the window, and you know, you wake up and you're just getting in that space of appreciation and gratitude and expecting a great day. Amazing things happen. I saw so many random checks coming in the mail. I, you know, received a partner, my husband, and I also received the business I'd always dreamed of having, which was a small restaurant with a big picture window and 3 little stools. And it was everything I had imagined it would be. I could go on and on. So many stories, but one by one, just my life, it's like my life before The Secret and after The Secret. That's that's my
And
story.
how powerful, it's so powerful. And thanks for sharing
Mm,
like, it just shows when you, like you said, when you are actually thankful from the moment you wake up.
yeah,
And that's what it is.
yeah,
Like my shift, the shift happened from sleeping on people's floors to be able to get into my house was, no matter, even though I was where I was thankful that
yes.
I was inside and I
Mm,
wasn't sleeping outside. I was so thankful that a friend had offered that to me. You know, she was in a one bed sit herself, like one
Yeah.
room. So to be able to share with her and her child, I know that's a lot to do that for somebody. But the fact that they did, I was so thankful. And from there, it got to that somewhere else, somebody's sofa, and then from the sofa, it went to, you know, an actual place where I really felt really comfortable. And then from there, I went into an actual house, you know, and it just went, it's the knock-on effect, isn't it? And like you said, you know, businesses, that the way I've had two businesses come, previous businesses that have come to me, was just like through a conversation, and bam, these businesses started and thriving.
Yeah.
Like for the next day, like, whoa.
Wow.
Like clients, customers, and bam, and all of a sudden I'm running two businesses. And that's because of the thankfulness. And I tell you what, I just remembered when we moved recently, we'd gone through some old stuff, and my daughter had pulled out a box, and we had both done drawing. I think she must have been about maybe 5 years old. So I was 25, I think I would say 26. And I remember her coming up to me with her little friend, who they're really good friends with still today at 20 years old. And I remember us all sitting down together, all three of us, and saying, draw the house that we want.
Wow.
Right? Now, I drew a bungalow, so a one-story house. And I drew exactly where the windows were, what the front of the place looked like. And I drew that. My daughter had drawn, I can't believe this. When I say this story, it's like, wow. So she and her friend had drawn a business looking after dogs.
Wow.
Right? And they had put sections in each part, so what each person's going to be doing and how it's going to work. And it was all like very detailed. Now, we'd obviously done this, put it away, never thought nothing of it. When was I running the dog boarding to start with? 2014. So 2014, I'm running a dog boarding business.
Wow.
Now, still, we're not aware of this box, of these drawings. We've completely had no idea, completely forgot about it. But I've run this dog boarding business for nearly 3 years. In between that, I moved to a bungalow.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
It wasn't until I moved recently and we pulled out these drawings, and I said to my daughter, Sophia, look at this. And her friend was there as well. That's the same girl that was there with us at the time. I said, look what we've got. The dog boarding has come to life. And what I drew, and we stood at the front, and it was exactly how I drew it. Exactly, the window to where the door was.
Wow.
I was like, oh my God, wow.
So powerful.
So powerful. And it was so done, you know, like you're sitting with your children and you just draw these things.
Yeah.
They were 5 years
Fun.
old. Didn't think it was fun.
Yeah.
Didn't think nothing of it. And we manifested it without even knowing. So my point was, you probably found that things that happen now because of your higher vibration, because you feel good, because of the self-love, because of what you're doing, what you love as well. Things are happening and you go, oh my goodness, wow, I remember asking for that when I was 10. Maybe, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I had an experience like that. I was 12 and it was the first business I started. I had created a babysitting club and I would send girls out 2 by 2. And I had a pamphlet for safety tips, emergency numbers, everything. And so and so I had this little boy I babysat for, and his father had the most gorgeous red Firebird. And every day I would just go look at the car and say, oh my God, I love this car. Someday I'm going to have a car just like this. You know, years go on. I was old enough to get a job, you know, a real job, I say. And I began waitressing, and I forgot all about that, you know, just And I was in my early 20s and I needed a car. I had saved up some money, saw an ad in the paper. There was one ad that was in my budget. So I called, I went to look at the car, paid cash, and drove it home. And as I'm driving it home, I'm so excited because I just bought a car, paid cash, and it feels so good.
Wow.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, something came over me and I just had all these goosebumps. And I was like, oh my God, this is the car that I dreamed of having as a kid. It was a different color. It was white, but it was a Firebird. And it hadn't even dawned on me. I just had this flash all of a sudden when I was driving it home of this little boy's dad's car. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like,
Wow.
yeah, literally. And that was before I knew about the power of the law of attraction teachings. We're always manifesting. The law of attraction is
Always.
always working. So whether
Always.
we know about it or not, or we're doing it intentionally or not, we're always manifesting
Yeah.
our reality. And
Always.
that, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, such a cool experience. And
Exactly.
when I learned about the law of attraction teachings, that experience came back to me and I was like, wow, it really was always working. And I just didn't know it. The more I thought about my problems and my misery, the more miserable I was and the more problems I had. But when I became aware that I had this power to choose and decide, and I could focus on thoughts and beliefs that feel good, life-changing, literally life-changing. I definitely experienced
And it
similar.
literally is like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I remember a time
amazing.
when I was also homeless. I had nowhere to go. I was in my 20s, I believe. And I remember the same, as you said, Anthea, sleeping on friends' couches and feeling like, what am I supposed to do now? Like,
Feel
you know,
useless, right?
yeah, I felt like, how did I end up in this situation? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And so, very similar. I, eventually found a place to stay, a room for rent. And then I learned about the law of attraction teachings. And from there, manifested my home, my husband, my life, everything good in my life was once a wish, a prayer, a hope, a desire that was born. And, through believing and expecting great things, the power of focus and attention and energy, owning that power. So many amazing stories. We could sit here all day.
I know, there's so many amazing stories. I'm going to tell you one more because it's a quick one. So I wanted, when the BMW X5 first came out, I so wanted it. And my son he was only, I think he could have been 4 or 5. Yeah, he must have been 5 or maybe 4, 5 or 6, I can't remember now. But he loved cars as well, and my son still loves cars. He loves aeroplanes actually as well, more than anything. He would trains, aeroplanes, and cars all day. Love them. So anyway, I used to show him. I said to him, "Oh, I really want this car, Alex." I'm talking to a 5-year-old, by the way, but I don't, I used to share this stuff with my little eyes. I used to show them things and this is before I knew about the law of attraction. And I was saying to him, like, oh, I'd really love to get out. One day, baby, I'm going to come home and you're going to see mommy in this brand new car. And, so he actually made me a little card, and he drew an X5, most cutest thing. I've left it in the UK, but I still have this card. I need to get it. So he drew this car and he put X5 and he wrote inside, "To mummy, I promise you when I get big, I'm going to buy you an X5. Or he put BMW X5, right? And I was so touched. I was like, oh, baby. I was like, thank you so much. 2 months later, I was driving along and something said to me to go into this car showroom. And as I got in there, they just brought in this X5. And I was like, what? And I had no intention of going to buy a car. It was just something within me had pulled me there. And I said to my friend, let's just go. There's something telling me to go in there. Let's just go. Anyway, I drive out with a BMW X5.
Wow. That's awesome.
So when I got home, I was like, I picked up the kids from school and I was like, I said to him, I'd cover both their eyes, like had them walking by the side and I said, cover your eyes, you can't look. And then when I pulled my hands away, they were like, oh, Mum, you made magic. I'll never forget it.
Oh my God, that's so beautiful.
How did you do it? So yeah, it was the power of the intention of what we wanted, the purity of my son, of what he said, and just that you're driven by the divine to do things, and I followed that feeling. I see it through, and it was with so much ease. That and I think, look, like we said, we could go on and say sorry after sorry after sorry, but just know that just know. We'll come back to it. Just know, wake up and appreciate what you have. Say thank you. Doesn't matter where you are, what you've got. Forget the outside world. Remember your inside. You've got a beautiful heart that pumps all by itself. You can breathe, you can talk, you can see, you can hear. And even if all those things are not there, like I can tell you, I don't have full sight. One of my eyes is not the greatest. However, I've just affirmed that, but I don't often affirm that because I'm always saying my eyesight is improving. And one day I will sit on camera and say, whoa, I can see perfectly out of both my eyes. And I know that day is coming. You heard it. So, and I promise I will be truthful the whole way. I won't just say it. When I'm able to see out of this side properly, I will come and say it because I know that's what's happening, because I know the power of what we can speak into existence.
So powerful, so powerful. The power of the spoken word and the written word.
Yes.
You literally can create your reality. Absolutely.
You can. I need to tell one more story because I
can't. Definitely. I love it.
So 6 years ago, I remember when my mum had a major heart attack. And when I say a major heart attack, they announced to us that was it, go and say goodbye. Wow. Now, when the doctor came and they pulled us in this room and said, right, this is the room that they tell everybody the bad news. So they said, so you got me sitting there, which, and my son and my daughter, and us three are like the power team, right? So we've heard this, and our initial feeling was like, how can I say, sadness, like, no way, no. And then I come outside the room and I said to the doctor, to the surgeon, come with me. And he was like, what happened? I said, come with me. But let me tell you something. Don't ever come and tell me if my mum's going to live or not going to live. I'm going to tell you and she will tell you. No one's saying goodbye to her because my mum is coming home. And he said to me, I'm so sorry to tell you that's not the case. And I said, listen, again, let me explain to you. It's not for you to tell me or you to tell my mum whether she's going to live or not going to live. That's not your decision. He said, but after what the surgery and what's happened, there's a possibility like that she's not going to wake up, that she could be brain damaged, and I said, no. That's how you want to see things because you've been programmed to believe that. I said, no. What you're talking to me right now is gibberish. I said, let me tell you, my mum, yes, she might look like, and she's got machines all over her, keeping her alive. But let me tell you, there's no way this woman is leaving us. It's just not happening. I said, I can tell you. I know my mum, it's not happening. She's coming home at some point and she will wake up. And he said, and he kind of was like, he didn't know what to say. He really didn't know what to say. So he said to me, okay, look, I'm going to leave it there. And I said, I just don't, if you want to talk to other people and say whatever that you feel you need to say, but do not come to me and do not come to my son or my daughter and ever express that again. So anyway, so the next day, we'd gone into the room and my mum's literally, she's actually blown up from not being with us. Like
Mm.
spiritually, she's here, but machines are the only thing that keeping her alive in that moment was actual machines. So I said to the nurses and the doctors all there, I said, right, what are all these machines and what do they each do? So I asked them to explain, and I said, what does each one need to be in order for my mum to be able to come off of these and be able to breathe by herself? What, like you've got things like we're saying, if one was like 50, if it went below 50, it was classed as not good, or if it went above. So I just kind of wanted to understand. So we sat and we focused and watched each one of the machines, and I focused on whatever they told me it needed to be. So I imagined it saying 99 for argument's sake. I imagined it saying 79 for argument's sake. So I imagined every machine, how I knew, and I started imagining my mum being awake, and me, my daughter, and my son would literally go home and we would talk about my mum, she loves to bake. She's a big baker. She loves it. So we would be talking about what kind of cake she's going to make, what's the first thing she's going to make, how she looks, the conversations we're going to be having with her. And we went through, we just did not speak of it how it was. We only spoke of it how we wanted it to be and how we knew we wanted it to be, right? So this continued, and we would go into the room and I'd put headphones in her ears, basically saying how that her body was healing and the self-healing process. And we would speak to her and say, right now, as we're speaking, your body, your cells in your body are rejuvenating, they're bringing themselves back, this is what's happened. Would go for a whole process every single day. We were only allowed 10 minutes at a time, but those 10 minutes was enough for us to get into her subconscious mind. Now, my mum was then a few days later, woke up and was called a miracle.
Wow.
Wow. Yes, absolute miracle. They could not believe, everybody could not believe that she had woken up. And although it continued as a journey, they said, oh, she might not ever be able to talk again. I don't want to hear it. My mum will talk. Trust me, my mum will talk. You won't stop her from talking. So we continue. I mean, don't get me wrong. There was moments where I would drop that energy and just and kind of feel, because you're in a hospital and everyone's so on a low vibration. But the majority of the time was uplifted. And I'm very blessed in the sense of when I felt that way, my son and my daughter would grab me every time. Mum, remember what you taught us. Remember your teachings. Remember your teachings. So it was, you know, become a blessing that I taught them what I know, because, you know, it was like they're my little people on the side, like my little solid, it's like three of us in one, you know. I mean, we had family members get angry because of what we had said, how we were approaching things. They thought we were absolutely crazy, but I didn't care. This is my mum we're talking about. I don't care what you think I'm crazy. I know my mum's coming home. Now, if I tell you today, my mother is at the best of what she could be. She has lost so much weight. She is so vibrant. She's so tapped in and turned on in every way possible. And she's following the law of attraction teachings. And I'm like, yes, Mom.
That's so powerful. Oh my gosh, that might be the best story I ever heard of the power of the law of attraction and the power of our thoughts and beliefs. Like, mind blown. Wow.
Yes, amazing. That's why I had to share that. The energy was building. I can't not share this story because wow, we've got from a person that's lying there with nothing to now like vibrant and slim. Like she was quite overweight and she's lost so much weight, and she looks after herself, and she's baking in the kitchen, by the way, just as we see her to be.
All things are possible.
When
we look at the situations and circumstances, you know, that's what can bring us off track and off course. But when we transcend what we're seeing or hearing physically in physical reality and go to that place of faith and believing and next level faith.
Yes.
Speak it and it is. That's when you're
Speak
aligned.
it.
Speak
Speak
it
it.
and it
Speak
is.
it how you want it to
Yeah.
be, not what it is today. What
Yeah.
it is right now is the bouncing off place. This is your platform. This is like the springboard to bounce off. What do you want? You
Yeah.
go, yeah, 10 minutes ago is the past.
Right.
A minute ago is the past, right? Remember we were saying, like, I've done often when I'm driving and I look in my rear view mirror and I watch the past going behind. I said, oh my God, that's my past. This is my
Wow.
past.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
love
love
that.
it. And especially when you're going down like the highway or the motorways when you're going fast and you look in your mirror and you see the power of how fast, everything behind you, you think that's your past. Behind you's gone. Now what's ahead?
Wow. Wow. I just felt that. Like I literally just felt it. Like all of the power is in the now just became more real. All of the power is in this moment. What do you want now? How do you want to feel now? What do you desire now? It can be your
Right
reality.
now.
Yes, let's speak it. And it is. That is so,
It is.
wow, so
Woo,
powerful.
I tell you, Melissa, so powerful. So powerful. And I tell you what, I've been looking forward to our conversation today all day. And I was not let down in any way, shape, or form.
There is there is so much power in exchanging energy on this path, right? Like, wow, next level realizations, next level epiphanies, next level awareness. I mean, things that I've said for years become more real every time we exchange energy. I understand them in a new level, like
a new level. And you really instilled it. You really helped me with this side of it, Melissa, because actually connecting with you and co-creating with you, I felt when you said this, and as time has gone on, I'm feeling it, like you said, at another level. Because I've understood by actually doing it day to day. And it's not every day we speak, but the days we do speak, even in between, we feel each other's energy. We do, right? Yeah. It's like
I love it.
It's the best because you've kind of got someone to be accountable for as well, and not just yourself. Because it's actually, it becomes the game, it becomes a big game, doesn't it? Because it's something, when something throws something at you in life, now I think, oh, if I was to allow myself to go back to my old ways, then, and I speak to Melissa, I'd feel embarrassed. I'd be like, well, Melissa, I don't know, like, no. But actually, I think, oh, no, how would, me and Melissa were talking about it, what would I do? How would I see it now? The difference. And I can take both sides of us and put it in and actually speak it out, feel it, think it, and do it. And what a difference, man. What a difference. What a difference.
So powerful. I've always said, I believe that we're spiritual beings having a human experience, but also that we're connected in ways we have yet to realize. And we are just scratching the surface of how we're connected. And the more we come together and exchange energy, the more powerful it feels. Like you have my bright energy and your bright energy. And on our own, we're joyful, happy beings. But together we're like, boom. It just, the energy magnifies and grows, and that flow and exchange. So it's really powerful to join with others on this journey, right? And just and have these experiences, like, so fun, so exciting. Next level stuff we're experiencing here. So the story of how we began to co-create, right? Even that is such a powerful story.
Such a powerful story. I'm gonna let you, please go, please. I need water in a minute because my mouth is drying out and I've run out. I've got a little bit. Go on, Melissa. Fire away, my darling.
Quick last story. I was having so much fun in the creation of and birthing of Becoming Abundantly You. And I'm in this creative flow and I'm vibing and I'm loving life and I'm excited. And I'm like, Divine, I'd really love someone to play with and have some fun with over here. This would be so much more fun with someone to play with. And I put that intention and request out and got back to living joyful now. And before you know it, I received a message from you and we just got to chatting and here we are. Like,
Yes, yes,
so amazing.
so amazing.
Desire, the thought, the desire, and then putting that desire to the divine. I didn't have to go make it happen. You didn't have to go make it happen. We didn't even know that chatting was going to lead to this amazing.
We had no idea. And the powerful part is the extra powerful part is that I had also written down and said I would love somebody else to build a business with and co-create with and just have fun. Somebody on my level, somebody I can speak with that understands the language, understands my language. And I let it go. I didn't even, it was just, and then when I'd messaged Melissa, it wasn't that I had an alternative motive. It was just, I think I'd put a post out and and I'd asked something about my post that had gone out onto the group. I can't remember what it was, but then Melissa got back to me and then, I don't know, all of a sudden, it just started to go from there and here we are. Like we didn't have to force anything. We didn't have to go and search or Melissa asked, I asked, universe went, well, you two are both ready. Boy,
have I got the perfect one for you. And and it just happened like organically and naturally. We just started chatting and so amazing. And better than I had asked for. Like, and more or better, like, I really feel like the divine always gives us more and better than we even think and imagine and ask for. So this has been so much more fun than I could have imagined. So blessed and grateful and celebrating that.
Me too. No, thank you. I've got to say the same. It's been, I don't, you got to breathe it out sometimes because there's so much of it. It's like, it's so cool. And as you probably can see, like when me and Melissa and I get together, our energy does just go, it just skyrockets. It really does. I was saying to Melissa that I'd done a video earlier on and I felt like it wasn't as flow and I was like, I need my little partner in crime here too. I'm not in crime. I'm like, that's a limited belief. I'm not shouldn't say, not that I shouldn't say crime, but my partner in abundance.
Yeah, definitely. So fun to enjoy this journey and how much we love being right here, right now. Isn't that what we all desire? To be happy now, to enjoy right now. It feels so good and anything's possible, all things are possible.
And on that note, I think that's a brilliant, excuse my language there. That was a brilliant way to finish. All things are possible. Everything is possible. And come and follow us. We're under Becoming Abundantly You. I'm under Anthea Morphetis on Facebook, social media. I know Melissa also has the group Law of Attraction and The Secret. And anything that you would like to add for yourself, if anybody to follow yourself, Melissa?
becomingabundantlyu.com and Anthea at antheamorphetis.com. Come play with us and have some fun, get excited for your life. Imagine, dream, and believe all things are possible. Much love.
Much love. Yeah.